Hello everyone, I'm Tad Murdock. I'm with Georgia Wild Trout. We're a fly fishing guide service here in North Georgia. We guide everything from the small wild trout streams in North Georgia to the big trophy waters here in Dahlonega, Ellijay, Helen, Blue Ridge. We put people on fish no matter where we go. We love guiding beginners. That's kind of our specialty. So if you're new to the sport, come check us out. We're very patient. We like teaching the nuance with the ecology, the streams itself, and then we're gonna catch a few fish too. For the more advanced anglers, we like to fine tune what we do here. So whether we're going out and we're chasing the Appalachian Slam, which is the brown, rainbow, and brook trout, or we're going after the fish of the lifetime, we can teach you the little changes you can make in your current angling to make you more efficient on the water. You can find us at georgiawildtrout.com. You're not going to find another website in North Georgia or in Georgia in general about fly fishing that's going to teach you everything from the basics to the fine points. We pride ourselves in being the experts here in North Georgia. All right, today we're going to go over a few tips I see a lot of beginners and weekend anglers make. We're here at Frog Hollow. We just came up and fished about 2 to 3 feet deep all the way upstream. So my leader is right at about 3 foot of depth. We're gonna try a couple casts here, and because it's our first cast, we might get bit, but I'm gonna show you in a second a little trick, get a little bit deeper, catch some better fish. Start off by casting downstream. This is gonna help us get a more accurate cast on the way back up. Now we've got no slack in our line. We're gonna come up, go straight to our target. We're right on the edge of the current seam here, just floating down, waiting for the big girl to come up and eat. Two things we can do here. We can either strip some of this slack in, or we can just keep our rod tip angled down. Depending on how much real estate you're fishing on this drift is gonna depend on which one is better. So drift number one, no love. We're gonna drag upstream. While we do so, we're gonna let that line back out, make a sharp roll cast directly down below us, lift it on back up, go right where we need to go. Try drift number two. Same deal here, we're trying to straddle that slow water right by the fast water. These rivers are, there's a fish. All right, so we got our fish on, buttoned up, just staying stiff with him. If you notice it's a big one right away, we're gonna try to let some of this line out. This guy's not a complete monster, so I'm just gonna kind of drag him upstream, downstream, as he wants to go. I'm trying to steer the fight in this slower water here. We don't want him to get out in that fast water. If he does, we might lose, or it's gonna be a heck of a lot longer fight and stress out the fish. So we're gonna grab our net. If you're solo and you don't have a net man, we're gonna get him upstream of us, lift up, drag him right on in. And there's fish number one. All right, so we've got the fish off. I know this looks upstream here, but it's a little bit of optical illusion. We wanna face this fish upstream. Let him breathe. You'll see his gills start to pump.
Let me get over here.
Yep. So we've got his head upstream. See his gills start to pump, starting to shake. Maybe don't let go on the first couple shakes. He starts to shake a little bit heavier, let him go. And he's going home. All right, so we got that fresh and hungry fish out of here. We'll see if we can get more to come up and eat it in shallower water. I've got a feeling it's not gonna happen, but we'll see this with, when you're in an area with more pressured fish, you certainly won't see them come up to eat like that, but we've had some rains in the last week and not as much pressure out here on the big water. So they should be pretty spry today. All right, no go on that one. I'm gonna get a little bit closer to the white water on this one. Coming down right there is the money drift. All right, we're gonna go one more drift, getting even closer to that fast water. The faster the water you are in, the shallower you can kind of afford to be. They've got less chance to look at your fly, so they've got to make that decision even quicker on whether or not they want to eat or not. So you might find some more aggressive hits out there. We're gonna let this guy go a little bit further down than the last few, just because it's still right on that seam. This is where we're starting to get shallower again. So those flies are close to the bottom and we might end up getting hit. I'm doing tiny little mends here with my line, letting line back out. You can also just sit here and snake it and let that loose line through. So nothing going on that one. So here's the change we are gonna make. We're fishing about 3 feet deep from bottom fly to the bobber. We're gonna slide this up. Now we're gonna be in that 5 to 6 foot range and getting down much deeper toward where the fish are living, or where the more lethargic fish are living, which is also gonna be your bigger fish in general. So roll cast down, get it on back up. I am expecting a bite on this cast. There it is. Oh, swing and a miss, swing and a miss. All right, we're gonna get it again. Coming back down. Notice how we pushed off from the current there. Oh, there was a little, something happened there that wasn't normal. See how the bobber has moved away from the heavier current there. Typically, they're not going to be sitting in this really dead water. They want to be, the most aggressive fish are going to be tucked up real close to that big boy current. So we're going to get a little bit tighter on this cast. We're doing downstream mends here because the little side eddies are grabbing our line and holding us up. Oh, there's the bite, there's the fish. A little bit nicer. So I'm just trying to keep tension on him for this first few. I want to see if he's going to run. Notice how I changed my rod angle direction there as this fish broke the surface. That'll keep his head down and keep him from throwing the hook. Get him right on in. Whoop. Number 2. So after a few casts with no fish on the short line, we extended it, and here's bite number 1. Oop, oop, oop. Get him unpinned here. Face him upstream. He should still be pretty spunky, and off he goes. The other thing I wanted to mention while we're at it is see how I've set up this leader with the knots. If I know I'm going to be fishing between 3 and 5 feet, I've got between 3 and 5 feet from the top to the indicator to the bottom, right? So I can slide that up without having to jump knots multiple times, which is convenient. So rigging, so you know, when you're throwing these while the indicator, I'll just do a regular clinch knot to the bend of the fly and then run it off. If you're fishing a spot that needs a lot of finesse, or they want a more natural drift, or if you're drifting midges, I'm going to do a tag line. So right about here, I'll make a knot, have a tag come off of it, and then your midge will be free floating or free drifting a little bit higher than this fly that's going to be chugging along the bottom. Here we're going to go right where that white water flushes around. If you get caught in the little whirlpool in the circle here, just let it sit. The longer that thing soaks in the deep water, the better the chances the big boy's going to come out and eat it. There we go. Oh, swing and a miss. All right, I'm gonna get back out into the better spot here. Again, I'm having to mend downstream to get it out of this eddy so I can have my flies flush down the way they would naturally want to go. We've got a couple junk flies on here, a mop and an egg. Again, this piece of water hasn't been touched in a good amount of time, so these fish are going to be hungry. Flashy flies are going to garner the most attention. Now, after we catch a few fish on it, we might have to make some change-ups, throw something with a little bit more finesse. There we, ow, swing and a miss. So the longer that leader is from your bobber down to your flies, the longer the time is before you can sense that bite. So you'll get a few more swings and misses than you would on, say, a dry dropper rig where the dropper is only about 1.5 feet, 2 foot down. So a few more misses, but a lot of times you can just change flies and get that same fish to eat again. That cover of deep water is going to make them a lot more willing to bite twice. All right, we're going to try it again. Another thing I did here, I'll go one cast to the left, one cast to the right, kind of give these fish a little bit of time before they see duplicate drifts. That'll also keep them a little bit on their toes. I tend to have more success doing that. And that's with stocked fish, wild fish, big fish. Oh, God, missed him again. Stopped myself on that one. And I know for a fact we are not on the bottom here, so we need another. We're probably about 18 inches to a foot off the bottom right now. So now that I'm dead across from me and I've stripped all the way in, I'm going to do those slack mends and let line out on each time it needs it. Now with this slack in my line, I'm going to need a little bit bigger hook set when I do get bit. And I didn't do it fast enough. As you can see, the bobbers, maybe optical illusion. All right, can't tell. All right, so we're back here. Now we're down in that 7 to 8 foot depth range. And we are only trying to fish this big whitewater right here. We're getting a little bit of bottom as we get to the back, right about in this area. So we might have some bad hook sets or some false hook sets, but we more or less just want to fish the very top here as effectively as we can. Right up in the foam. That's right where Big Mama should be. Now we're approaching that little shallow lip where we might get bottom. There's a fish right at the back. Now this is a bigger boy, got a little bit more of a head shake. Oh, he's not a huge one. Still good. So we're gonna get him upstream of us here, which is gonna look downstream to y'all in this back eddy. And then we're gonna lift all the way up in the other direction and scoop him up. Another thing to think about when you're setting up these indicator rigs is knowing about what depth you're going to fish that day. I will leave my knots in the leader right above or below the depth I'm thinking. So if I'm in the 3 to 5 foot range, I will have 3 to 5 feet of leader or tippet below that first knot, and it's going to keep me fishing in the same, or in the piece of water column I like, without having to untie that bobber all day and rig it down. That's not as an important thing to have in the summer months. You know, it's not too inconvenient, but in the winter when you do not want to get your hands wet and cold, that is a great idea to think about before hitting the water. We dropped it one more time just to get a little bit deeper up there at the top of that plunge. All right, so we're back down low. I'm thinking this is gonna be about 5 to 6 foot deep. I'm gonna start with about, it's probably gonna be about 4 to 5 foot deep. So we're gonna start it at 5 to 6 foot. The water's slow here, so we don't need a lot of that extra line down to our bottom fly. If we were in faster water, we'd want to make that gap a little bit more prominent. The other problem with the lower water right now is we're not getting the movement that we typically would get right here on this bluff end. Shoot, it looks like it's coming right at me. Now we're starting to hit some current. Spoke too soon. Currents are about to collide. So where these two currents collide is a good spot for a fish to hang. He's gonna have food coming at him from 2 directions, which is a great way for him to double down on his meals, and he's still not gonna have to expend that much energy. And I'm sensing a big womp womp in our future, so I'm gonna pick up and just make a hard roll cast back upstream here. Stay away from that tree. We don't want that kind of fun today. Oh, there's a little bite. Come on back, come on back. Oh, that had to be a bluegill or something. It's playing with me. There's no way that's a trout. So in North Georgia here, we get a lot of creek chubs. So if they're nibbling a lot, maybe do a couple surprise hook sets. You never know if it's gonna be a trout, but I've got a gut feeling if it can't pull that bobber where it wants to, it's probably gonna be a little creek chub. All right, one more cast here, then we're gonna move it along. Might cycle back through later with some smaller flies and pick up some bonus fish. There we go. There's a nice one. All right, now we got a big one on. So we've got this big one on. I'm gonna let him do whatever he wants to do here. I'm still peeling in a little bit of line, but I'm fully anticipating he's gonna go on a run. See, he's going right towards this deeper water. He's pulling, he's digging a little bit. I'm gonna slowly let some line out. If he's not going anywhere and we can hold him in this slower water, I'm just gonna go ahead and peel up this extra line with my drag, or with my reel here. Oh, there he goes. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. So I've got my reel set, maybe a little bit too loose, but a little bit too loose is better than not enough. So as he's coming, I'm just gonna take what I can get. I'm not doing too far. I know he's coming at me right now. If he goes to turn his head, I'm letting him roll. He seems pretty tamed right now. These can get out of hand pretty quick though, so we're not trying to rush him into the net. I'm kind of letting him do his thing. If I can get him into the net, oh, no, he saw me. He saw me. All right, I'm still being real delicate with him. I'm letting him do his thing. He's not done. A lot of people would try to rush the net there, and they'll get themselves into big trouble with that fish going the other way, not being about it. Oh, now, oh, he was hooked with both. Now he's back to the bottom fly. They do not want their head on the surface. If you try to pull them up to the surface, they are gonna dig, get pissed off, and that's when you really run the chance of losing them. I'm just letting him go back and forth in front of me, keeping him in this slow, deeper pool. I've got nothing to snag on here. If he gets wild, gets out in that current, I'm gonna be chasing him downstream. If he goes upstream of us here, he's got some wood that can get him. So I'm gonna keep him, oh, there he goes, there he goes. He saw me again. Wasn't happy about it. So just like that, as soon as he ran away, he came right back at me. Oh, and now we got a stick. Now it's gonna get fun, folks. Oh, okay, he's off the stick. I'm gonna slide down just a hair to get away from that stick. Maybe it won't be as big of a factor. Oh no. So I've got my, and there he is. So play it easy, keep it calm. Okay. All right, so when you're on your trip with Georgia Wild Trout here at Frog Hollow and you get the fish you came here for, this is how you want to go about holding him. He's in the net, we want to grab down below behind his back. We want to wring that tail, that's our first move. Next, we're going to slide this other hand, get down below him, kind of put your fingers in between his front pec fins right here. Kind of flare him out, lift him towards the camera. And if I'm doing my job right, we get a good picture of him. We'll set him back down here in the water. Let him catch his breath. You can see his gills pumping. He should be about good, and he's ready to roll. Yeah. I got it. I'll throw some funny stuff out there. Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Tad Murdock. I'm the owner of Georgia Wild Trout. We do fly fishing guides to the trophy streams. Hold on, yeah, I'm getting tongue-tied. Let me. I need to think about it a half second. Yep. Oh, so just kind of do a separate one. Okay. Beginners, intermediate, God damn it. I'm going to start over from that. The first part was good, right? Yeah. Streams. Oh, and we get to catch some big old sticks while we're at it.